Hello,
Okay.
hello, hello, and welcome to episode 148 of the Super Weapon Podcast, most overpowered podcast on the internet. It's your boy Darius Artist, and as always, I got my co-host DC here with me today.
Yo, what's good, everybody? Bridge Builder, Wall Destroyer, DC is in the building, baby, and we got a lot to talk about today. So we're gonna try to proficiently cover a few topics that we done slapped up here on the blackboard. You feel me?
It's gonna be interesting today, man. Yeah, we definitely. This is like I said, this is my favorite time of the year. We always have so much fun and entertaining news. I'm gonna say whether you like it or not, it's all entertainment for me. And before we do jump in, man, I want to just do a little house cleaning here, man. First of all, I just want to say everyone's been showing like a lot of great support around here lately, man, and I appreciate our community and all you guys who hang out while we record this live. If you guys are audio listeners, we record this live every Saturday. But I also just wanted to make sure you guys know that we have a YouTube channel that we're trying to grow here, man. We're close to 20 subscribers. I think we're only one off, as a matter of fact, for the Super Weapon podcast, or Super Weapon Media YouTube channel. I want you guys to make sure you check that stuff out because we upload the podcast there. It's going to be Fridays at noon is what we're going to try to stick to. So you guys can watch the episode if you missed it from the previous week. You also have the Wednesday audio version that drops as well on all your major podcast services. Excuse me. Also,
that was a mouthful. That was a lot. That was a lot.
Sorry, man. I just, I've been trying to get this stuff out. But I want to hear from you guys as well, man. We want to hear from you guys at Super Weapon. If you guys want to write us a QA question on Twitter, if you're a part of our Discord, please put it in the Super Weapon chat. You can also email us at superweaponpod@yahoo.com, man. I want to start hearing from the community. Any kind of questions you guys might have from us, if you have something for DC, if you have something for me, thoughts on games, movies, anything at all, man. I would just love to hear from people. And we can, I would love to read them out onto the podcast in the beginning. So that'd be fun to do, man. So please make sure you guys are interacting, liking, commenting, subscribing, man. I just had to get all that stuff out of the way because I appreciate everything you guys are doing. And like I said,
we thrive off of interaction.
Yes, man. And things have been growing around here. And I just want to say shout out to everybody again. Appreciate you. But man, I just said a mouthful. I'm sorry. I know that was a lot of word vomit, guys. I tried to get through it as quick.
Go ahead, take a sip of water.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
But yeah, man. Definitely got some interesting stuff to talk about, man. I think the most important thing that we're gonna cover today is Xbox and Redfall. Take a little bit of drink of water there.
Yeah, go ahead. Slow down, my brother. You got it.
Yeah, so this past week, Redfall comes out in a couple of weeks, man. This is a game that I don't know about you, but I've been like super excited about. It's just something new to play. I think the previews and stuff of the game have been pretty good and pretty decent. But we got word from Arcane Studios that the game's going to be launching in 30 frames per second on console, man, on the Series X, no less. So this is a current gen game. This isn't going to be like on Xbox One. It's really on the new series consoles and PC. And I was just like, man, the internet really just kind of, deservedly so, I think really just kind of let Xbox and the brand kind of how they feel about it. I mean, this is something, I think this is a pretty big deal, especially once again considering the game comes out in a couple weeks, man. I mean, there's just really like a lot to unpack here, but I first wanted to hear like kind of what you thought, like how you kind of feel about this, man. As somebody who has the Series X, I would love to hear your perspective because I don't have one. I'm mainly a PC gamer myself, but I still think this kind of stinks. So I really do want to hear what you got to say.
Do you really want to hear from me?
He has a big smile on his face.
Xbox, listen to me. I'm gonna try to have some decorum here and be controlled.
But we can be honest. We can be honest.
Hey man, I'm fed up, man. Call me Turncoat Tommy, bro. I'm gonna show you what I did, and I want you, Xbox. You did this. All right, hold on. Give me a second here.
Oh man, DC's been.
I did
hurt
this.
By this.
I did this.
Wow.
You made me do this.
For those of you who don't see what's happening here, DC is hugging a PS5 right now. My goodness.
I did this.
Stop the presses. DC
We're gonna sit this right here.
And he's wearing blue, by the way, to make this even more hilarious.
We're gonna sit this right here.
Oh.
Yes. I've deflected.
Nice, man.
Turncoat Tommy is in the building. Your boy went and copped the PlayStation 5,
Nice.
and I'm going to play it. It's the God of War edition, so I'll be jumping into that. And yeah, man, I got a Series X, but I would have to turn my camera around so you can see it. But just know that it's there, being a big fat paperweight right now, so to speak. But in all seriousness, I was when I saw that on my timeline, I was immediately attacked. Immediately.
Oh,
I've
I
been
can
fighting a good
imagine.
fight for so long. You wonder where these gray hairs come from? It's because of Xbox. I'm just going to be honest with you. Okay. Seeing Redfall, seeing that announcement, first of all, when anything drop on social media, if you're smart, you're going to double check the facts, right? You're going to start doing your own research and making sure
Right.
that what you see, because I know the official site dropped this, but the fact that anybody can pay for a check mark now means you got to be double diligent in what you're seeing.
That is very true.
And so I saw it and I was like, even though I knew it dropped from the official Twitter, I still couldn't believe it. So I had to pretty much, do my diligence and make sure everything was copacetic because, we want to be on point with what we're talking about. And once I did the research, dude, I was like 30. Like, first of all, that's a hard sell with any type of game, but specifically FPS type games or shooters, and a game that, like we talked about it, the way that like Redfall looks, it seems like it's going to be kind of like fast paced, right? Seems like it's going to be that fast paced,
Yeah.
fast action type shooter, and I wonder how choppy that's going to look in 30 frames per second. And then they try to soften the blow with like, well, we'll have an upgrade to 60 frames per second. God knows when. See,
Yeah.
that's my
And
problem.
oh,
That's my problem because we don't know when we're getting that. They can. What if the game don't really do what they wanted to do, and then they're like, "Well, why would we waste resources if this game's not moving?" Like, so many thoughts are in my head about this game, and this was supposed to be another, uptick or a hit or whatever. It was something that Xbox needed, right? It was something that they needed. So it's just like, man, what are y'all doing over there? Like, what is going on? Because it's like it's miss after miss after miss. And then it's just like, me personally, I'm just to the point where I'm tired of hearing about Game Pass as well. I still think it's a good deal, but what is the point of having Game Pass if you got all these studios and you really are dependent on deals to go through, or you dependent on getting these games from other places? Like, I don't know, man. I'm blown away, man. They made me buy a PlayStation. I wasn't gonna get one of these until maybe like next year,
sure.
or like, because I figured like Spider-Man would have been on sale by then. Like, I had no intentions at all of buying a PlayStation 5 this soon. So
That's powerful,
here we
man.
are. Like, here we are. It's gonna just sit here. We're just gonna leave it here the whole episode. It has a space on the couch, Just put it right there.
I think what just the thing that kind of gets me about the entire this, I can only assume that at some point within the last month they probably realized that they weren't going to be able to get it to run at 60 frames on the Series X, right? And I'm kind of two minds about it. Like, from a brand standpoint, I think Xbox does this really great job of building up momentum, and then they step on a rake. It's almost like they're like ice skating uphill, right? Like they make a little bit of progress,
Right,
then they slide
right.
back down.
I'm
And
sick of it. I'm sick of it, man. Because
yeah,
how much grace have we given them?
we have, man. And we've been here, we've been hearing it time and time again. Hey, we're gonna have these games. We're gonna have these games. And while they have done a good job at the beginning of this year, I think Xbox, just like all the other companies, have these flaws and make these missteps about them. But I'm of the mind that Xbox can't afford the same sort of missteps because Sony and Nintendo have built up pretty strong brands. I mean, we had the release of the Legend of Zelda trailer this week. The internet went crazy. Internet exploded. Literally lost their minds.
Mm-hmm.
Then you also had the state of play, the Final Fantasy 16 state of play. The game looks beautiful. It looks like it runs at 60 or more. And for as anti-consumer as I think Sony is, I'll say it out loud. I do. I think they're very anti-consumer. They make really, really good finished products for the most part. Minus the Last of Us One PC remake. We're not gonna talk about that, but usually they have like this quality bar, and I
Right.
feel like a lot of times Xbox has grown so much so fast that I feel like there wasn't these quality checks, while they were doing this. Yeah, we'll give you guys more money and resources, but you have stuff like this, and I think this sucks for people like yourself, or people who don't have access to PC gaming who have to play on the Xbox. That this is gonna suck for them. I mean, I'm always gonna be a big proponent of frames over fidelity, like 100%, 10 out of 10 times. Like the game to me is going to functionally not play as well as it should because of this limitation on Xbox, and I wonder what that's gonna do for just the community as a whole. Because the game, we've talked about live service games before, man. Like they only have like a certain window when they release to capture the
Mm-hmm.
community they're trying to capture, and either it's gonna work or it's not. And Destiny's still out here pulling all time peaks on their player base. They're pretty much the only one doing it out here, and it's
Consistently.
yeah, consistently, and it's just worrying to me because it's just like you said, man. I don't want to say we've made excuses for Xbox, but we've given them a lot of goodwill based off of the stuff that Phil Spencer has done. I'll say that at least for myself. I feel like I've given him a lot of goodwill, but this just really doesn't instill a lot of confidence in me when it comes to their first party studios. And I'm gonna ask you a question, and I
Bring it.
already know the answer for myself, but
I am a Sony pony.
do
Yes, it's
you
true.
no, do you think if Starfield comes out at 30 frames per second on Xbox, do you feel like that's a commercial failure on their part?
Let me tell you something. If they say anything about 30 frames per second for
Starfield.
Starfield, I'm mixing up the games. I'm confused.
No.
Starfield, I'm telling you, I'm, boy, it's gonna be a lot of cussing. Look, I've already turned cold, so it don't matter anymore. But for them to, if that game, that's like, you know how much pressure this puts on that game, especially if Redfall comes out and it's not a commercial success.
That's what I'm saying, and
All
this
the chips are gonna lie on this one game. And if they start talking about delays or, oh well, it's 30 frames per second, but later on this year on the PC version is 60. So
I,
it's going to bring up that age old question of why the hell would anybody buy a Series X at this point? You could just play on PC, get a PC and a PlayStation at this point.
and that's what I was getting at right there, right? Like I feel like we're at this point in next gen or the current generation of consoles that we should really start to see these innovations. And I feel like, and I'll say it once again, I feel like we've gotten that innovation from Sony. The haptic feedback on the controller is nothing like anything I've ever played with. Like that controller
Mm-hmm.
might be my favorite controller as it stands over any of the Xbox controllers for that reason alone. And then you just look at what games like Ratchet and Clank have done, what games like Final Fantasy 16 are gonna do. Like just the ability to take advantage of the hardware is unlike anything I've ever seen from any other first party studios. Yeah, the Activision Blizzard deal might go through, but so what? I don't think that it'll push Xbox into the number one place of revenue, sure, but will they still have that brand,
They still have to
that
create
yeah,
content.
that goodwill for the community? Like I don't think so. I think Sony's still going to hold that for the foreseeable future. Once again, we don't know what they're dropping out this year. Spider-Man's going to be a banger when it
That's
drops.
all. Honestly, let's be honest. 2023 is Spider-Man. That's all they need. Let's be freaking honest.
Game of the year contender just off the strength of the name. Like
And they strategically placed their they did this on purpose because last year it was God of War. They have these central pieces that they know
yeah,
will knock it out of the frame. They know that people are going to clamor to this. They're going to run to this. They're going to buy it. And it's like, why would we release Spider-Man and God of War the same year? We're
Yeah.
canceling ourselves. So let's spread the butter. Xbox ain't doing nothing. We're just gonna kick them to the ground. And we got these games because who's to say, once Spider-Man that time start closing in, right? What if they just drop a bomb on us? New Uncharted or Last of Us
Well,
3
I mean,
or
Naughty Dog is still supposed to release that multiplayer game this year. That's that Last of Us 2 spinoff game. And from what I understand, the first one was super popular, so you still could have that. And I mean, there's rumors that Spider-Man could drop in September, same month as Starfield. And once again, if you hear that Starfield is 30 frames on console, that's all people are gonna be talking about.
and you
Nobody's gonna
got
talk about the
Spider-Man.
game.
No, 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 no. You
Nobody,
got Spider-Man swinging through the city.
at 60
Crispy.
frames, buttery
Crispy
frames, no
swinging.
load times, like. And shout out to
Who you
Weenie,
think would
shout out to Weenie
go
in
ahead?
chat, man. Like he said, the GameCube was able to hit 60 frames on some games. Like I just, I don't know, man. Like I feel like there's some sort of like, I don't want to say issue, but there's just once again, they're doing really great, build up all this really good momentum, step on a rake. They
That is
just,
the funniest term I've ever heard
they
of.
just immediately step on a rake, and I just,
It's frustrating. It's
it
really,
is,
really frustrating because this morning, it's probably a good thing that we didn't pod at our usual time. Because I woke up on 85. Like I woke up this whole week, I just been stewing on this shit. Because soon as it was like announced on Twitter,
yeah.
Beezy, all of them was like, uh-oh. It was like, uh-oh, here come DC. Uh-oh, he's gonna be yeah, I was pissed on Twitter. I was like, this gotta be a joke, right?
I mean,
This
rightfully
gotta be a
so,
freaking
man.
joke.
I think it's rightfully so. I mean, like I said, there's only so much goodwill that they can continue to buy. I mean, at some point, we once again we have to know what these studios are working on. I mean, we talked about it a couple of episodes ago, maybe like a month or two ago. Like we don't know what anything's besides Suicide Squad, which we're going to talk about later. We don't know what's coming out next year for anything. There really aren't any like solid release dates for 2024. And let's say
Oh,
we only get Starfield this year, and maybe Hellblade 2. What's past that? What are these other studios working on, and are they gonna hit the quality bar? Because if not, you guys are gonna keep being the laughing stock of the industry.
you know what they call? Like they're calling you the Xbox. What is it? What? Oh, I saw the meme. What was it? I forgot. It'll come back to me. But yeah, it's man, it's just like you becoming known for the 30 frames per second system and all these other stuff. And I'm like, y'all not giving anyone anything.
Nobody cares about
Like,
4K. Nobody cares about it.
no, not at all.
Not in
And
gaming anyway. I
you
don't
have
think
these
so.
pieces though, like you said, like that is the perfect analogy of like them sprinting and then just hitting themselves in the face. You know what I'm saying? Because
Yeah.
you had like the little secret drop of what's the name of that game that came out? Just came out.
Oh, High Five
This
Rush. Is that what you're talking about?
yeah.
Then you had Atomic Heart
Yeah,
hit Game
man.
Pass.
Yeah. Yeah, you had some good like
Mhm.
little stepping stones to get you in the right direction, and then it's just like, and I feel like they just try to slide that in there. Am I the only one who felt like they try to slide that 30 frames per second shit in there real quick?
Yeah, I think it was like late in the day, like
Like
you
nobody wasn't gonna
know.
see it.
Yeah, shout out to BZ in chat. Yes, DC is awake now, man. He is alive and in recharged. But I just, it's gonna be tough for them. It's gonna be hard, man. It's gonna be hard for them to kind of come back from this. I know. In the grand scheme of things, when the game comes out, people aren't gonna be talking about it as much. But
Hey, BZ, I joined you, brother. Turncoat.
oh yeah,
Turncoat
DC
Tommy.
he's a PlayStation guy now.
I'm a PlayStation guy now.
Once again, for
I'm
those of you
I'm
guys who
I'm a
are
PlayStation guy
listening
now.
to the audio version, DC has a PlayStation 5
Yes.
God of
See
War
it?
edition. Very nice. So, yeah, man, we'll just see how the game runs. I'm curious to see how it's gonna run on PC. Especially because of something that BG just mentioned. I hope not, man. This game can't stumble out of the gate. It doesn't. It's not gonna have room to. I mean, you have Jedi Fallen Survivor at the end of at the end of April. That game's gonna be huge. Star Wars games from Respawn are always huge. Then you have Zelda right after Redfall launches, and I think it's like May the. Don't get me lying here, chat, but Zelda comes out sometime like the middle of May. That's gonna shut the internet off. Everything everyone's gonna be talking about Zelda. So the game, I don't think it's gonna be able to afford to stumble. May 12th. So you have 10 days until Zelda comes out after Redfall, and so
Oh my God. Oh, that game's about to get forget.
it's gonna get flattened. I think it's gonna get
It's gonna
flattened
get crushed.
if it comes out slow, if it comes out buggy, if it comes out not fun, people don't like to play it.
In
You
game, all that good stuff.
in-game issues like Redfall is going to struggle, and like this ain't the year for it, man. And I once again, like Xbox, they were doing great, but here we are stepping on rakes, man. Like once again, just getting smacked in the face.
And I just want to address my homie Weenie in the chat. Hey man, I've come to a real hard conclusion that I don't play disc games anymore. I sat there in the store and debated on which one I wanted for a long time. And I was like, why am I kidding myself? I can't even remember the last time I bought a disc for a game.
Yeah, I mean it's good. It's good to still preserve disc. I know a lot of people are fighting pretty hard about that too.
Hmm.
Um,
And I respect that because some people
yeah,
like they had those like really nice game rooms or they stream rooms and they have like the
right.
library of games. Shout out to Dave, the homie Dave over at Corrupted Data Podcast. He has his office set up like that where he got like all his PlayStation games. It looks pretty dope, but it ain't me. I'm not gonna have
I
any
remember when
hard
we
copy
went
games.
to gosh, just to get off topic, I remember we went to GDC and I talked to some of the guys. I forget there's a library. There's these guys that run a library that preserve games, like they keep them in like kind of like a museum library type thing. Because I mean, a lot of people have been talking about games getting delisted lately, and it's been like a hot button topic. Like if you purchase something, you should still have access to it, right? And I do agree with that. So
Hmm.
I just wanted to bring that little tidbit because I didn't know. You don't really
Man,
hear about a lot of that kind of stuff. So
well,
um,
Xbox like it's crazy because if you look in your Xbox library, there's so many games in my library that I own from like so long ago.
right,
Like I completely forgot about that because they added that feature on the dashboard now where you can go like to your library. Even when you delete games, like it'll show you every game you've purchased since like
that's pretty cool.
the Xbox, the one and all that. It don't go back to 360 unless you like repurchased it through the Xbox One, but it will show
Yeah,
everything. I was looking at stuff. I was like, oh shit! Like I have so many Call of Duties in there. Like it's crazy. Advanced Warfare, all those ones that were forgotten,
yeah.
not boots to the ground, but ass to outer space. Call of Duties, like yeah.
Did you do the Xbox the 3D tour that they had a couple of months ago, where you could kind of walk around your own library of like achievements, games that you've played the most
See, but they do
of?
stuff like that, and that's cool or whatever, right? That's cool. But you need that core content. Like they always doing stuff like here and there
Yeah,
on the side,
yeah.
but it's like when it comes down to it, man, all that's cute, but people want to play games at the end of the day. You need heavy hitting games. That's
Good
just the
games,
industry.
good
That's the freaking
working 60 frames per second games,
yeah,
please.
that come out with the least bugs as possible. Like I said, we've always given games like God of War its praise for the way that it comes out, and you don't really hear about problems. Like they drop it, and then
Yeah.
it does what it does. And I don't know if that's because it's like on the technical side, I don't know if it's because it's a single player type game and there's not too many moving
No,
components they have to deal with.
I wouldn't even make that excuse, man. It's just like I said, like I think there's just like a quality bar that Sony's first party studios just I don't know how they bottled all that magic and but they really like know how to work with the hardware that they're given. Um and I mean that's why I said look at all the first party PlayStation 5 games we've gotten so far. They in some way take advantage of either the haptic feedback or the super fast SSD within it. And like I said, my favorite thing was playing was Ratchet and Clank Rift Apart. That game was incredible. Like
Make next gen games next gen. I just
yeah.
wanted to read that from BZ.
Yeah. I agree with them 100%, man. And
Yo, did you hear the rumor about them? Oh, I think you sent it to me. Them using the Ratchet and Clank Rift in Time kind of
concept,
split
yeah,
screen thing
yeah,
concept with Spider-Man.
because they were essentially, yeah, and that, a lot of people think that oh, we can talk about Spider-Man rumors. A lot of people think that Spider-Man 2 is going to have something going on with the Spider-Verse, which makes sense because there's a Spider-Verse movie coming out this year, and Sony, they're really masterful in my opinion of like marketing stuff and interconnecting things. So that would actually be really cool to see some sort of like, I don't know, maybe like at the end of the game. I don't know, because a lot. I think that I don't think Venom is the main villain of Spider-Man 2. I think he's just one of them. Spider-Man always has this gallery or cadre of interesting people. So we'll see. That'd be cool
Yeah.
though. That would be really really cool. You see how excited we are to talk about PlayStation and first party things?
See, I was just about to say that. We give the flowers where the flowers
I
need to
love it,
be
man.
given. All right. You know what? Turncoat Tommy is in the building. The PlayStation is in the
Right, the
building.
mood
We
entirely
are in
shifted,
here.
right, BZ? Like we
Yeah.
sounded so excited, and I'm excited for Spider-Man. I don't know about you guys, but
And
I
yeah, I'm definitely ready for my ascension into the PlayStation Rim. Welcome me with open arms,
it's
brothers.
like flying Delta is what I like to say.
Yeah,
You
BZ. I
like,
mean,
yeah,
BZ is right, man. I just want to
yeah,
harp on that. Like, you have to give people a reason, man. Like, I got this big ass this thing. I use this thing to heat up my office now. Like, I turn on my Xbox and just let the bitch breathe. Like, I need something to do on it. And then I got like, so I got like most people. Well, I'm not gonna say most, but like I game on PC too.
yeah.
So you're in here, and Lord forbids if I get a Switch, because that might be next. So you gotta like step it up, man. Like it's crazy. I'm literally, I may not show it, but deep inside, I am flabbergasted. God damn it.
Yeah.
I just don't. Because you don't understand. Because y'all think I'm looking at the camera, but my camera sits on top of my Xbox. I'm looking at my Xbox, and
Oh,
disappointment is what I'm doing.
oh
You're
no.
like you're like the son that I have to put on
Not
punishment.
the
Now you
disappointed
got to
dad
go to your
stare.
room. You know what? And this is like baby girl. When baby girl born, and then like your other kid don't get that much love, and he's kind of jealous. It's like the baby girl right now.
You
Yeah, that's
stupid.
you, Xbox. That's you. I'm talking to you. Hey, Phil, come here, man. What's going on, man?
Well, I
They
don't
can't
know,
say
man.
they can't say we never showed love to the big box, man. You know?
I think I agree with BZ. I think I'm just gonna keep playing their first party games on PC. I mean, when Redfall comes out, I'm gonna be very honest about how I feel about the game. I'm gonna play it. It's not gonna be 30 frames on PC, which is unfortunate once again for console only people. So if you were planning on playing this on PC, hopefully the frame rate, you'll have all those typical graphics options that you won't have on Series X.
Hey, and keep
you
playing
know,
with me.
so
Look, keep playing with me. I'll throw a raffle for this damn thing.
you know,
I still got the box. We'll do a raffle. We'll get that thing away on stream. Do something, Xbox. You know that meme where he's poking it with a stick and
oh
he's
come
like,
on,
do
do
something?
something. Yeah, it's just like a capture.
That's me right now. Do something, damn it. I'm dying. You know what? I just got tired of dying. Then, Blue Satire just sitting there lurking. He's like, yeah, I knew you was going to have something to say about this. You goddamn right I do. Because I'm tired of it, man.
Disappointing, man.
I'm tired of it.
We'll
But
see.
I've had enough of talking about it. We can talk about something
Yeah, I was
else.
gonna say I think it's best to just move on past Xbox at this point, man. Warner Brothers though finally have Warner Brothers and Rocksteady, they finally come through and announced the Suicide Squad delay, and it's a pretty, I think it's significant amount of time. With it being a 9 month delay, it's not supposed to come out in February of 2024.
Mm-hmm.
Allegedly, they said this decision had nothing to do with the Stony State of Play showcase from about a month ago that everyone hated.
Bullshit.
Yeah, I completely disagree with that.
Mm-hmm.
Um, yeah, man, this wasn't a big surprise for me. I'm curious to hear what your thoughts on this. Like, I don't really think much is going to change in 9 months for a AAA game that they've been working on for 8 years. Um, yeah, what do you think they could do? Because people hated the microtransaction stuff. People
They're gonna drop all that, and then they're
Like
gonna slowly leak it back into the game. We've seen this before 1,000 times. They're gonna switch it out. They're gonna make a less aggressive
ooh,
transactional system. They're gonna do the old rigmarole. We've seen this playbook 1,000 times, man.
they're just gonna
And
slowly drip feed
yes,
monetization
sir.
back in.
Yes, sir. You know it. You know it. Beezy know it. We all know it,
And
right?
it's just so sad to me, man. Like I just can't
Yeah.
wrap my head around how.
Hey, can somebody ban Beezy in chat,
Oh yeah, because
please?
of what he said. Yeah, I don't understand how the studio goes from making the Batman Arkham series. You don't release anything since 2015, and this is where we're sitting at, man. Like it's just I agree. Like I don't think much is gonna change about the game. If anything, I mean you can't really change the characters too much. There's not gonna be a lot of everybody shoots with guns. That's all I'm gonna keep going back to. That's the only thing I think of when I remember the trailer. Everyone has a gun in the game. None of them are unique.
That is so stupid.
They like King
I'm
Shark
tired of being nice. That's
should
stupid.
be he should be a brawler. He should be
He
running
can eat
around
people.
tearing people apart. Nah, let's give him a AR-15 that he can barely hold with his four fingers. Like
It's stupid. I'm tired of being nice. It's
it
time to
just
tell the
blows my
truth.
mind, man.
It's the direction y'all took that is beyond me. Now, I know this is my theory. This is my theory of what I think happened. They said, hey guys, we created this awesome series of Batman games that everyone loves. Now imagine this. Hear me out. What if we can somehow monetize off their love of our games? What if we throw in some janky ass loot boxes? And since they have so much good faith in us, maybe, just maybe they'll fall for the okie dough. No, we're not. No, I don't like that shit. Fix it.
That's
I don't
I
even think
mean,
this game, you know what? Do you think it really can be fixed? I mean, like,
I don't
I
think
don't,
when you say fix, right? I don't think the game will change fundamentally.
yeah, that's what I mean. Cause
I
like, I know you harped on that, saying that, like,
Yeah, we'll
if
probably get less aggressive monetization, maybe some visual changes of the game itself. Like, but as far as
maybe like
like,
cutscenes or something like that, or
no, I mean, I think the game looks good. Like from like when I say visual changes, for me, the game all kind of the background and everything kind of blended in. It all looked kind of muddy, but in the cutscenes,
okay.
everything looked really great. Kind of like Injustice. Injustice has like really great character models and just like everything looks nice, but I think we'll probably get a little bit of that. But outside of like you talking like core systems of the game, like the loop mechanics and everything, I don't think much of, if anything, of that is going to change. I mean, you look at how long it takes Destiny, and I hate to keep going back to it, but with this being a live service game too, I mean, you look at how long it takes Destiny to make changes, because they have to test everything out, of course, and they want to make sure they don't break the game as they're building it. Building the plane as you're flying, as they say. That's all live service games are to me. But I don't really see much changing in 9 months, man. I mean, sorry, I'm, and it upsets me because I really want this game to be good. I do. Am I gonna play it when it comes out next year? Probably, because February is usually pretty light for games, and I
Mm-hmm.
think that's probably pretty smart of them to put it there because we don't know what's coming next year. There could be some heavy hitters from Sony next year. Maybe we'll get, once again, Hellblade might get that early next year. But I think they were smart to get this game away from everything that was coming out. I mean, this game would have got crushed too between Street Fighter and Diablo at that point. So it's good that they delayed it, but we'll see, man. It's just like BZ said, and I hate
You
saying this
can't
on stream, but you can't polish a
pop.
turd. You can't.
No, say it, man. You can't polish a
No,
piece of poop.
I'm not gonna be mean because it's people working on this stuff, man. It's humans behind it. I always try to keep that at the forefront of my mind, but
See, but let me distinguish that real quick because I understand what you're saying, right? I don't think part of the I don't think is really them. It's because it's so much that goes on behind the scenes. I'm
yeah,
sure, like those guys, no one sets out to make a piece of shit. Okay, no
yeah.
one, nobody sits there and wastes their time saying, "I'm going to create the shittiest game I've ever made." I feel like those guys had a lot of ideas and a lot of great things, but due to crunch and it's so many other factors, and due to and I deal with this at my job, like you want to create something, but with the time constraints and we have to have this done by this. We have to have this out. We have to meet this quarterly. We have to do this, and that. The artist himself, which is the developer and what we're talking about, they
Rocksteady,
kind of
yes.
get lost in that sauce of trying to create something so great. Because trust me, I really know how it feels to have this grand idea, being a graphic designer, having like this grand idea, and it kind of get chipped away at because of various different things such as time constraints and things like that. Like, I'm sure that's the case in a lot of these games being created, especially depending on who the publisher is. That's why you saw that a really aggressive microtransaction, because I'm pretty sure they was like, hey, oh, that's a cool King Shark. Oh, I like his combo system. Blah blah blah. But
What if he had a gun?
what kind of skins are we gonna put on him?
Yeah.
What can we sell? What can we sell off of King Shark? Because at the end of the day, it's a business, and it's always that power struggle between creativity and monetization. And that's what these guys deal with a lot in the industry. And I feel they pain a little bit. I feel the developers when it comes to that. So granted, I don't want to shit on them. It's just that the state of the way these games are coming out has really, really, really been rubbing me the wrong way. So hopefully they can kind of like start course correcting this shit, man. Like, a lot of indie games are coming out as well that I've been keeping my eye on, and they're really bringing the essence of gaming back. But right now, like with the AAA studios and stuff, it's a little rough, man. They have that power struggle that kind of kicking them in the ass. I feel like that's just my opinion.
Yeah, I agree with you. I got a theory. I got a theory about that. My theory is 2015 wraps up. They drop, Batman Arkham Knight.
Hmm.
They were like, "Hey, Warner Brothers, we got a great idea for a Superman game, a single player Superman game. We're gonna work on it for probably a year, maybe. They probably had a little time to concept and everything." Warner
Hmm.
Brothers sees the success of things like Destiny, Warframe, um, Fortnite, all these live service games, GTA Online, and they're like, "Hey, stop what you're doing, throw all of that away, and let's
Hmm.
make this a live service." And that's really what I think. I think Warner Brothers really wanted to, just like much of the industry, capture that genie in the bottle when live service games were really like popular. A lot of I mean, they still kind of are. But they wanted to capture that initial wave, man, and just like we talked about Redfall, you can't come stumbling out of the gate, especially when you have large years like this in the game industry. So many big titles coming out, looking for everybody's attention. Like, next couple of weeks, things are going to be dropping pretty rapidly, including indie games. So I don't know, man. Like I said, I'll still check it out when it comes out.
Yeah, it's that
Um,
line. It's definitely that line that I want people to understand, because I feel that shit. Like, when you create something great, but it's like, well, that's cool, but you kind of spent a little too much time on that. We would
yeah,
rather you do this and produce all of this at this kind of quality and speed, even though it looks like crap, than to spend all this time on this. Like, so, you
yeah,
know,
it's unfortunate, man. I mean,
yeah.
hopefully they made the best decision for the team and everybody involved, and they make the game that they set out to make. Because otherwise, it could get buried under whatever comes out next year. So,
Say no to King Shark with a gun, okay?
ah, man, what if he had a
No,
gun?
we don't like that. Don't do it.
Just give him a gun. Just give him Harley Quinn's gun.
Because
Tired
that,
of
you know what that says
it.
to me? You know what that says to me? And I'm sorry, developers, but I got to say it. It feels rushed.
Yeah,
It feel like y'all was rushing to meet a date, and you was like, you know what? Instead of creating move sets for each individual person and stuff, it'll be easier if we just give them all guns. Bullets shoot all the same.
bang.
Like, it's shoot, 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 shoot. Like, that makes for boring combat, and it also doesn't set the characters apart, which in turn is going to create like, oh, who's your favorite character? Oh, it's King Shark, because he, like, why? Because he got a gun. Harley has a gun. Everybody has a gun. What they shoot different? They get different power ups. I don't understand where they're going with this. But anywho,
Yeah, just need to see more, man. We'll definitely take a look at it. I don't know. I don't know. Our final story of the day, though, man. I thought this would be pretty interesting to talk about because usually when there's these big shifts in the industry, I think it's important to kind of bring this stuff up because you just have so much changing in the gaming industry, esports industry right now, and there was another gaming org that let me say this venture capital backed gaming org that closed. CLG Gaming shuttered its doors and basically fired everyone. And it seemed like it was pretty sudden. They joined quite a few other orgs that are either dropping out of esports or they're doing layoffs. It seems like it's a pretty hard time out here, especially for creators who were a part of these
Hmm.
orgs that were probably being paid a salary or some sort of they were receiving some sort of monetary value, brand value from being with these companies and these organizations, and it seems like it's getting kind of scary out here, man. I don't know, man. Like I think we're at a really interesting point where money is starting to become a little bit more comfortable to talk about because years ago in content creation, no streamer, no content creator really liked to talk about how much they make. But I think it's good that people are being more open about just the state of the industry itself because it seems like a lot of investors are pulling out from the esports and a lot of people are kind of scared, man. Like I don't know if you still watch like any esports. I do. I'm still pretty involved in a few
Hmm.
that I watch, and it just seems like it's a combination of like overinflated player salaries and the game developers themselves not really wanting to pay the teams that are in their leagues, like help them monetize their brand activations or anything like that. But I don't know, man. Esports seem like it's on a little bit of a bubble, man. I don't, what do you kind of think about that? Like, like I said, I'm not sure like how involved you have been in esports, but I always think it's interesting to just talk about it every once in a
I
while.
I'm gonna be completely honest here. I watch a lot of stuff, but as far as the news, like I watch the things that you send me, but as far as like the news on the back end, on the business side of things,
Yeah,
it's a little like murky for me. But I will say this: I feel like it's just part of where we at
yeah,
as a country, just as in the world, like just how the economy and everything is. I feel like a lot of people are bracing themselves, so to speak,
right.
because all the companies doing it. My job, both of my jobs are doing it. Pretty sure your job is doing it. Like there's massive layoffs like across the board. People are crunching numbers and
Yeah,
shout out to the people who, have to, go through this, maintain, recover, bounce back and all that stuff, all the people because I know people personally who've been laid off and things of that nature. So with that being said, I don't think esports any different. I don't think it's going anywhere. I think it's just going through a rough patch. Unfortunately, when esports started growing and hitting peak numbers and stuff, unfortunately, the world took a shit on itself, so to speak. We had to start, COVID was a big blow, and we got a lot of stuff that's going on in the world now. So, I mean, just long story short, man, I feel like it's gonna bounce back. It's going through something right now that the
yeah,
world is going through. But once it recovers, I think they'll have a clear because think about it. This would be like honestly esports first time dealing with recession potential. You know what I'm saying? Other companies weathered this already. You know what I'm saying?
yeah.
The company I work for, talk to the CEO. He's like, this is not my first rodeo. I kind of know what to do, so we won't have massive layoffs, this, that, and the third. Think about it. This is like kind of almost like esports first thing to deal with, major thing to deal with. And I think they're gonna bounce back and they'll be all right. They'll learn. They'll learn from this. It's gonna be slow orgs or it's sad because I've seen a lot of organizations fold.
Yeah,
I never want to see that because at the end of the day, that was somebody with a dream. You know what I'm saying? And I'm never shitting on anyone's dream, but to see something like that happen is sad. It's like, damn, I've
that's tough.
watched people build up their stuff, build up their esports league from the ground up, and then it has to decease. So hopefully, man, it bounces back with a vengeance. Everyone who's dealing with something like being laid off or whatever the case may be, hopefully they find other ways to create amazing content and bounce back and be able to provide for their families.
Yeah, man, and I think you hit the nail on the head too, man. With the esports industry being so young, I don't think there's really been like a recession or like anything like that has ever really hit esports before. And
Mhm.
I'll say one org that I think is doing a really good job of, I mean, even though they did have layoffs, is like 100 Thieves. Like they're the only orgs that I see investing in things like custom keyboard companies. They have their hundred Thieves merch that seems to
Mhm.
sell out.
Which does
Like,
well. Yeah,
yeah,
it
you know what
does
I
very
mean.
well.
Nadeshot has been like somebody who I followed throughout the years, and he's like incredibly smart when it comes to just like monetizing his business and running that org. And I kind of agree with a lot of people because I've seen a lot of people say like, you have, and I laugh when I say this, but Moist Esports from Moist Critical, all these creator run gaming orgs. Yeah, that's the name of his esports organization, Moist Esports. I'm not making that up.
Moisty Sports. Okay.
Yeah, but it seems like they're doing pretty all right, and I think you're gonna see a rise in this, man. Like I don't know, like with all this talk about money with Twitch and Kick, I think you're starting to really see a shift in the power dynamics for content creators. Like, I think it'll eventually get to the point where you'll have this solid foundation for not just esports but content creators to really like earn a livable wage, like a consistent wage. Um, but until then, I mean, a lot of the bigger companies have pulled out, a lot of brands have pulled out. Honestly, I think this is the time for Street Fighter and the FGC, the fighting game community, to take over again. Because I see a lot of events going back to like grassroots, a lot of smaller,
Mhm.
more concentrated events, local type events, and I
I
can see.
think the way Oh, go ahead.
No, you're good, man. You go right ahead.
Oh, no, I was saying I think the way that Capcom is approaching this with the smaller grassroots community. I could even see them like investing in a few things. We spoke about this earlier. It seemed like Capcom is doing they're pulling out all the stops, man. Like you
Yeah,
got Little Wayne hosting their event, what is it, next week, I believe?
yeah. It's no, I was gonna say August, April 20th.
They
And
are they are going, man, I'm
yeah,
telling you, it seemed like, this is course correction from 5. And it's like we want to give you everything. Like
yeah.
we need this game to go hard.
And
Is
they
and
also,
I
I mean, they announced the Capcom Pro Tour. I think the prize pool is $1 million for the first time ever. So, and that's what I mean. Like, you need the developers of these games to support the esports side of their games. Like, Nintendo is incredibly heinous for that, for not wanting to support Smash Brothers, and that's why Smash Brothers isn't as big as it could have been. I think. Um, I just it's a tough problem to solve, man. Because something that somebody said that kind of makes sense a lot of me. To me, when you think of esports, right? What is the first like genre you typically think of? Probably like FPS, right? Typically,
that's a good
Eh,
question. I was gonna say fighting games, but that's kind of a cop out because
but
I feel
no,
like I'm
but
only
it's not
saying that.
though. It's
No,
not.
I feel like I was only saying that because it was we were just talking about it though.
No,
That's
but
why.
but that's my point though, right? Everyone's probably gonna have like a different idea of what esport that they like to follow, whether that be like League of Legends, whether you get
Hmm.
FPS like Call of Duty, Overwatch, or fighting games. Like, there's such a broad spectrum, and I think it's hard to kind of like, how do you grow the industry as a whole where you only have these certain pocket communities that only really interact
Right.
with each other? You know what I mean? Like it's
So you
it's
think they should like do more of a concentration on kind of like merging these events or doing some kind of like you know, kind of cross play this type deal where I don't know, like you have
yeah,
fighters and shooters, and because I know one thing, we talked about this a couple of episodes ago, like definitely the Olympics really kind of dropped the ball with that.
they did, man, and it's just like Darkstar said, it's even happening in the FGC right now. You have a lot of orgs that are backing out of not just the FGC but ALGS, the Apex League, and it's just unfortunate to see because I don't think personally I don't think we're ever gonna get like the stadium full of people, you know, Call of Duty grand final match in our lifetime. I don't think we're gonna see that. But I think for esports to continue and for people to, if people want to continue to grow the industry that they're a part of, they got to start. I think content is really the answer, man. Like really putting out content and building up that brand awareness for your org or for yourself. Because if you're
Mm-hmm.
trying to bring in people outside of the industry, these non-endemic brands back in, they're going to be like, well, you know, what do you guys do? Who are you guys? You know, how do you make money? Those are probably going to be the first three questions that most investors will ask. And
Mm-hmm.
I mean, the pandemic really inflated a lot of numbers. Just like you said, it inflated so much, like in terms of numbers for everybody who was making content because everyone was at home. And so I guess there was like that gold rush. Oh man, we got to get into esports, got to invest money, and everything just kind of fell flat on its face. I don't know. It's really sad to see though. I hope that all the people who were affected by layoffs over the last couple of months land on their feet, man, because I can't imagine,
Mm-hmm.
how tough that is right now, especially with the way the job market is. But I just wanted to talk about it. Like I said, I was pretty interested in it because I don't think enough people are having this conversation around like not just
Maybe we
money,
could do something
but
about that.
yeah,
Maybe we could. You know what? Shout out to ATO Darkstar in the chat. Me, you, the gang over there. We could put fighting. I feel like we can put it back on the map. Positive. I was about to say pessimistic. What the hell?
positive. Yeah, I know what you meant.
I'm positive. I'm
Yeah,
positive that we can have a impact on that. I'm about making changes in this space that I love. So we can do what we got to do to contribute some positivity into the space, man.
yeah,
Like I am excited for Street Fighter 6. I'm
yeah,
going to dedicate a lot of time to actually learning the game, learning the basics. I already told you I'm more than likely I'm going to be using a controller, so um
nothing wrong with that.
my next step in the hyperbolic time chamber, I'm gonna need some more what I could do to start preparing, but we'll talk offline about that.
Yeah,
But shout out to the FGC, man. We rock with y'all. I watch a lot of stuff. I am a big admirer of all you guys, big and small, because I love fighting games. I'm trash at them, but I love the technical aspect of it. I love it. I truly, me in my heart, I really think
it's
that
nothing.
shit is a sport. Like it
Yeah,
is.
yeah,
I
man.
don't care what nobody say. It's
There,
like interactive chess. Like you just waiting for someone to slip. It's dope as shit.
there's nothing like the FGC, man. When it comes to passion, like I think the storylines, the people, I think it's the most interesting esport. It's just in my humble opinion. That's just me. But
Hmm.
yeah, man, I think that's a good place to wrap it up, man.
For sure.
Close to
I'll
an
drop.
hour in. Thank you guys for hanging out today and being great, man. Once again, I just wanted to remind you all to please check out the Super Weapon YouTube channel and please send us Q&As, man. Ask us questions, make comments on things we talked about. If you guys hate an opinion that I have, please let me know right into us, whether that's on Discord, on Twitter, or email us at superweaponpod@yahoo.com. All that stuff will be down in the description box of this
Yeah, I got
episode.
something to say. Yeah.
And I
Yeah,
gotta
yeah.
and I gotta give one more shout out, man. Shout out
Yeah.
to my guy DC, man. This guy's been streaming, playing RP GTA Online, man. Make sure you guys check out his Twitch, man. He's been having a good time. This guy was up all night streaming, which is just it makes me happy to see that he's having fun. That's the thing that makes me
8
happy,
hours,
man.
baby. 8 strong
So make sure you
hours
guys please follow him,
streaming.
man. That's all I got. You guys can find me everywhere. Darius the Artist, where he is a 3. Please check out my YouTube. Darius the Artist. I dropped a video a couple of days ago, Resident Evil 4. Please check it out. Like, comment, and subscribe.
Yo, yeah. Hold up. We gotta definitely give a shout out. I got something to say real quick. A few shout outs. First of all the content. We're going to get better at organizing it and distributing it to you guys. So check out all the content. Check out my guy Darius's YouTube. Check out Super Weapon YouTube. The people that's in our Discord, once the YouTube drops Friday, the audio drops Wednesday at 8
Yep.
a.m. And then we have the where you can see our lovely faces on the YouTubes. Friday is going to drop on YouTube.
Yes.
And then we will also post that in our Discord, which is going to be our central hub since a lot of these social sites are going belly up, I feel like, and things are getting a little crazy. Spam is getting out of control. So we want you guys to join our central hub that will be in the Discord. I'm gonna do better. I've actually been doing a lot better in the Discord. Shout out to Lucky. She yelled at me yesterday because I need to be in our Lucky City RP Discord to learn a few things. So just across the board, I'm really focusing on doing better in the Discord, interacting with you guys, making sure we're posting our contents. We're going to have YouTube shorts from Darius's channel and ours. So just support all the content that we have. And also, one last thing, I know my streams are starting off. They're a little rough because I really don't have anything set up. I literally just jumped on stream like maybe 3 days ago and said, you know what, I'm just going to
Ah,
stream.
man, you're doing great. Don't sell yourself short. Don't do that, man. You're
No, because
doing
there's
great.
no like, I mean, as far as the streaming go, I'm good. But like the technical aspect, like I don't have nothing set up, no transitions, no nothing in OBS. So I
That's all right.
literally just turn that shit on. I create a title and then I pull out my phone. I'm like, because I'm RPing, so I can't really talk to you guys until I figure out how to set up the sound to differentiate
Yeah.
so the sound won't play through the RP. So I'm RPing and I'm talking to people and like there's people in chat. So I'm like this. I got my phone. I'm at like it's crazy because I can like control with one hand and I have my phone and I'm talking to people in the chat like this. So
You
it's
just
crazy.
need to figure out how to in-game mute, and that's it.
Yeah. I'm gonna talk to you and Beezy about that
Yeah.
all probably
If you're
today or
playing on
whenever.
keyboard and mouse, it's most likely just the key you press. But that's gonna be it,
Yeah.
guys. Thank you guys for hanging out for episode 148 of the Super Podcast. I appreciate you
Wait, hold
guys.
on. Okay, I got him. Oh, I'm sorry. Brick asked a question.
Oh,
I'll just
yeah, I was
answer.
gonna answer it after. Yeah, I was gonna answer after. Yep,
Oh,
and that's
okay.
gonna be the end. Thank you guys for hanging out. It's gonna be in the audio version. I'll see you guys next time. Peace.
Peace.